Being with a narcissist is like being on a roller coaster. It has highs, it has lows, it has twists, it has turns, and at the end, it's not really getting you anywhere except the same exact place you started. Have you ever felt like you were on an emotional roller coaster with a toxic person? In this video, I'm going to dive into just understanding the world of narcissistic relationships, where you start to feel and experience like this bewildering cycle of love bombing, of devaluation, of discard, of hoover, of starting to back over again, and you're still stuck in the same place. Maybe today you're watching this and you've been in a cycle of toxic relationships, maybe starting from your childhood with your parents and then moving through relationship to relationship to relationship, overt narcissist to covert to covert to covert, and just keeps going. And if you're stuck in this cycle and you want to break free from it, I want to encourage you to watch the video, but then also go to claritychallenge.net. It's the resource that I put together to help you break free. And we've had this happen with hundreds of people, to break free from the cycle that you're stuck in. If you're new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I speak a lot from my perspective and just from trying to break it down from the narcissist side of like, hey, this is what he's thinking. This is what he's saying. This is what he's doing to help give you clarity and help you move forward. This emotional roller coaster we talk about is one of the most confusing things inside narcissism, because you're like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's going on. It starts off first in a positive. Like you think that it's great, you think that it's going well, and this is when you start to get love bombed. This might be the sweet seduction that's happening where you start to almost drown in the affection that he's giving you. This might be the incessant texting and communication that at first seems really sweet, feels really loving, feels really amazing. The love bombing stage is like the honeymoon stage. So you're like, I want this to continue forever. The problem is it's manufactured. It's not even built on anything new. But oftentimes narcissists start initially with love bombing, giving you attention, giving you affection, trying to make you feel like you're amazing, make you feel like it's an amazing relationship. You might have had this where he's trying to give you different affection, give you love, give you attention, give you compliments, all these different things to make you feel like you're amazing and to make you feel like the relationship is amazing. Like the whole goal behind this is to make you feel adored, to make you feel cherished, but to do this in a very rapid way. It's not like a slow falling in love. Like, hey, let's fall in love and let's get married in like a year. It's like, hey, let's get married in a week or a month or something like that. Because the whole idea is like, how do I trap you quickly so that you stay stuck thinking I'm the best thing ever? That's the thought process. That's the idea. Oftentimes, like in the love bombing stage, it's intense. It can be very, very overwhelming. Like when you show other people like, hey, he just did this for me, they'll be like, that seems like a lot. That seems like really extra. Like what is going on there? But in the inside, it's really incredibly seductive. Like just trying to slowly pull you in. For the narcissist, it's a very fast process. It's like, what do I have to do to catch you as fast as I can? Let me do all of these things. Think about this. You might meet someone who bombards you with love notes, gifts, constant declarations of adoration, of attention. Maybe he's texting you or calling you. Maybe you're talking every single night for hours on end and it feels like the most amazing relationship. Like you start to feel like the center of their universe, and it's exhilarating and it's also addictive. Because then when the communication shifts, you're like, wait a second, and you're quick to respond. Wait a second, let me interact, because you start to feel and depend on that communication, that interaction. But then it switches. Then it changes. Then it moves straight into the devaluation, the heart-wrenching fall that plunges you down into the dark pit of like, wait a second, I'm not good enough anymore because he's not communicating anymore. He's like pulled back. Like he doesn't even text me anymore. Like he says he's too busy for me now. Like what is going on? What did I do? He used to care about me. Now he doesn't. And it starts to make you almost spiral out thinking and wondering what you did wrong. Typically, this is when narcissists move into devaluation, putting you down, like going to the place of emotional cruelty, criticizing you, breaking you down, belittling you, hurting you through their words. Okay, narcissist feels like I've got you under control. Now I'll go ahead and switch gears and start to devalue you. This is where the narcissist like does everything they can to capture you, to get you under their control. And then once they've captured you, you're like, see, you're not that great because I captured you. So let me tell you how awful you actually are. It's like this switch. It's like this mental piece. And the thing is, once it switches, it's virtually impossible for a narcissist to even switch it back. I have people that have messaged me. They're like, he was amazing and he was like love bombing me, but it was amazing. How do I get him to go back to that? And I'm like, you're not. Like there's not a reality where he goes back to that, because he's already had to switch you in his mind to be a bad person. You see, for a narcissist, like, you've been great, you've interacted, but a narcissist is like, okay, how do I get out of this relationship? How do I move forward? How do I feel better about myself? Let me devalue. Let me put this person down. If I can put them down lower than me, then I'll feel better. Like, they're so amazing. If I can put them down, then I will feel better about myself. It's not because you're so amazing the narcissist is attacking you. It's because the narcissist doesn't want to feel bad about themselves. So they're going to do anything they can to attack you, to bring you down, so that they can feel better. That's the whole thing. Like, sometimes people get this confused. They get it confused, and they're like, well, he came after me because I'm so amazing. No, like, they don't really get attracted to you because you're just an amazing person. They want, oh, that person has empathy. Let me go be with them so I can get more empathy. Like, they're not looking to, like, attack you like that or go after you like that. But once they're with you, once the narcissist is with you on a relational basis, it's like, how do I devalue you so that I feel better about myself? Not that I need the stuff that you have, not that I care about what you have or what you have to offer. How do I do this to feel better about myself? And typically this looks like devaluation. Like, this could be different levels of cruelty. This could be different levels of emotional manipulation, criticism, degrading you, belittling you, all these things. All of a sudden you find yourself like plummeting down from the highs of love bombing and down into a pit of despair, frustration, hurt, angst, where you're like, I don't know what I did. Think of it where you've been with your partner, he adored you, all of a sudden he's cold, critical, emotionally abusive. Maybe he's giving you silent treatment. Maybe he's not around anymore. And the things that he's doing, it cuts you deep, leaves you emotionally hurt, devastated, frustrated, confused. Then it starts to affect you in ways that you don't want to even admit to other people. It starts to affect you physically, where you don't have the motivation to get up in the morning. Start running late to work. You start having distracted focus when you're trying to work, when you're trying to run your business. It gets you to a place where you haven't been eating. Or when you eat, you're just binge eating on stuff that you don't really want, don't really like. It just feels good in the moment. It gets you to a place where you're overweight, where your weight is fluctuating, either going up or going down, and you're like, I don't really know what's going on. You don't have energy anymore. Then you start to get to a place where you're just discouraged. Depression oftentimes sets in, and you're like, what is the purpose of this? What is the point? Because you put a lot of your validation and emotional support on this toxic person to actually give you the supply, and they're no longer doing it. This is the piece where the narcissist like runs into it and like leaves you stuck, and you feel like, I don't know what is true, what is right, what is wrong, what is up, what is down, and you're left on this emotional roller coaster. He can come back in at any time, and he can be nice to you, and he can give you love, and you're like, this is amazing, now it's great, and then it goes back to being awful. And this back and forth, this push and pull starts to make you think like, it must be me. Like, he keeps telling me it's me. He keeps telling me that it's my fault. Like, it must be something that I'm doing wrong, or else he wouldn't keep doing this to me. I must be causing it. He keeps saying that he's the victim. And you start to tell yourself all these stories that start to beat yourself down more and more and more. So like, the hard part is understanding this is what's going on. Now we need to help get you free. We need to help move you forward and to break free from this cycle. I need you to understand right now, if you do not break this cycle, odds are is it will happen again. We see this happen over and over and over again, where people they get into a toxic relationship, and then it happens again. Then it happens again. Then it happens again. And it doesn't stop. They just keep going from person to person to person because it feels normal. It feels like the same. It feels like, hey, this is at least safe. Might be awful, but it feels at least safe because I'm used to it. So you need to understand that this cycle happens. If you don't understand the cycle or see the cycle, it'll be hard for you to break down that it's going on. Maybe you're at the place where you're like, okay, I see it. Now what do I do? Now we need to start helping you actually rewire the thought process, the things that are going on in your mind, because each day he's going to trigger you. When he triggers you, it's going to put these emotions and these feelings whirling through your head that's going to sell yourself a story, an alternate version of reality, one that says he cares about me, one that says he loves me, one that says, oh, I'm not good enough, one that says like all these different things that are going to push you down versus the actual truth of the situation that we can only find based on the facts. When we're able to take the facts and put them and lay them out and you're able to see them, you're like, oh, that's what's been going on. Like, I knew this cycle was here, but I thought he still cared. But I was still telling myself that he loved me. And then you realize that's not actually true because it's not demonstrated. It's not shown. There's no evidence that he actually even cares about you. That's when we start breaking people free. Because when you can change the story that you believe, when you can change the lies that have been impressed upon you, that you start to believe and tell yourself over a period of time, you start to make a step towards freedom. This is why no contact is helpful. Doesn't fix you, but it's helpful because it gets you out of their space, out of their bubble, so you can start taking a look at it logically and be like, okay, what happened? Now, what do I need to change in my thought process and my thought pattern so I can actually be free? This is how I work with people on a day-to-day basis, and this is how I partner with you inside the Clarity Challenge. Walking you through 45 days, step by step, a systematic process for you to break free of the triggers, of the emotional hold that it has on you. Not having to wait a week to be able to take it to your therapist and process it. You can start processing it right then, right now. The tool that we put inside the Clarity Challenge is the same one that I use on a daily basis, helping rewire my mindset, ground me to the truth, help me move forward and deal with the triggers in my life so I don't show up in a negative way. They can help you too. Go to claritychallenge.net today to sign up.